general, what have your thoughts been about the running back group? I guess from top to bottom, what's stood out to you about them so far in camp here?
I think the biggest thing, they are working extremely hard. You have some young guys sprinkling in there, obviously with Ooze, Cam, but those older guys are doing a really good job. You know, Rodell, Sawchuck, really experienced guy, understands what's going on. Jalen Lucas, you know, is another threat, can do different things. But just watching these guys as they're coming through, and even Kazai, he had a real big play today, like a 70-yard catch. So that's been big. You know, they've been doing a number of different things. They understand their role, and we just have to put them in position to be successful.
Chris, how has Ooze done with getting here later, just picking up on everything and trying to be as rapid as he can with it?
He's different. He's different. I mean, he loves football, extremely smart, understands. He's really competitive. You know, he wants to make sure he's doing everything right. He's trying to be perfect on every rep, and that's rare from a freshman. He's not afraid of contact. You know, he really gets up when it's time to go against the linebackers and pass pro, and that's different from a young guy. But he's extremely strong, great balance, great contact balance. But I've been pleased with him, and I've been telling him to just continue to grow, keep stacking really good days.
Yeah, and obviously transferring in, just what did you see from him? I know you mentioned him earlier, but how has he kind of taken on this role in running back room?
He did a really good job coming in, just kind of working. That's been his biggest thing. Not a real big talker, but you can tell now he's really comfortable with the group. He was the first one to go out there to congratulate Kazai when he made his big catch. So for a guy to come in a room like that and kind of be accepted, you know, he's a worker. I'm really pleased with him. Great experienced guy, but he loves football. He understands football. Really, really good football player.
Does his experience show, like, can you tell that he's played a lot of college football, seeing him in practice?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He can make adjustments on protections. He understands that even when sometimes it looks like it's going wrong, he can make it right. You know, with experienced guy like that, making it right with different IDs and different things like that. And he never makes excuses. So one thing about Gab, I mean, but he can run the ball, he can catch the ball, and he fits right in the room, you know. Guys playing special teams, doing whatever we ask him to do.
With Chroma, I know he's been on the radar for a while, not as a high school recruit. When was the first time, or do you remember the first time he kind of popped out here as the first time you watched him, the earliest impressions you had of him?
I didn't realize he was like in the 9th grade when he rushed for almost like 200 yards. I just couldn't believe. And then when you see him in person and you realize he's that big and that strong and you watch him play, like I said, you know, I watched a lot of guys over the years, and immediately, you know the guys who are different, just the elite guys, and he's one of those guys.
With Ooze, I mean, even when he signed back in the summer and in the spring, you had a lot of confidence in the potential that he showed and what he could be. It seems like he's coming along even quicker than maybe you realized in fall. Has he done anything that surprised you? Is he getting there faster than you may have anticipated for a freshman?
Well, he's definitely getting there faster, and he surprised you every day. Just with his competitive nature, just watching him and watching him go against older guys, you know, that's the difference. Now, if he's just going against freshmen or, you know, maybe the third team, it'd be a little different. But when he's going against starters and guys who've been in college for 5 and 6 years, and he's holding his own, he's actually succeeding in it, that's the difference. And he's consistent with it. And it's every day he's getting better, he's asking questions, and that's what you want from a young guy like that.
How does Gus's offense fit Jalen Lucas and the gadgety type of player he is, for lack of a better term?
Well, I wouldn't call Jay Luke so much of a gadget player. He's just a player you get the ball to in space. He's a football player. And everything is a part of our offense. Whatever way we can get the ball to him in space, you know, some people may call it trick plays, but it's the offense. We're just trying to find ways to get him in space. And he can run in between the tackles. He did do a really good job. He's tough, doing a really good job in the return game. And my job is to make sure I keep him healthy. You know, that's the number one thing. I have to be smart with him in practice. You know, and I think he's doing a good job. And Coach Gus is doing a good job in making sure, hey, I'm putting him in on this play. I'm putting him in space. I'm doing different things with him. And that's what you want when you have a kid like that who can make people miss.
What do you guys need to see from Cam throughout the rest of the camp for him to kind of carve out a role for himself this season?
I think the biggest thing is continue to grow. His biggest thing is protection. Can't play quarterback in high school. When you start talking about protections and different things like that, it takes kids a while. And that's one of the biggest things. I mean, he ran the ball tough in the scrimmage. I thought he did a really good job in the scrimmage. He's been catching the ball. And I just want him to continue to grow. Sometimes we try to rush kids and we try to rush the process, and you can't. all kids have their own process, and you have to allow them to kind of go through that. And I tell them every day just to stack good days, keep stacking days, and don't get in a hurry.
You've got both Chroma and Sawchuck coming in the summer, whole new offense and everything. Has that been a challenge to get them to learn that so quickly? And have they, you said Usman's picking up on it quickly, but how does it look?
Look really good, and it's like, again, Sawchuck is a veteran. He's been running the same plays. It's just called something different. With Ooze, it's definitely something different coming from high school, but I think his high school did a really good job preparing him. He understands, and he's up there all day watching tape and making sure he catch up. And once he caught up, he's asking questions. That's all you can ask. And my job is to make sure I make it as easy as possible for him. I tell him that all the time. As a freshman, all his mistakes are my mistake unless he fumble the ball. Now, if he fumble the ball, he's going to stand next to me. But all his mistakes are my mistakes, and I take ownership in that. There's a reason all of us have the same first name, and it's called Coach.
You've played freshman backs before. Can you do enough in camp to where you know exactly what they're going to look like when the lights come on in the stadium, the fans, the TV? Or do you have to find that out when they get it?
You only find that out in the game. Everybody could look good in practice at time, and you can, think, what he's going to do, but until you put him out there and kind of see for yourself, and that's how it works. You have to actually put him out there, and also allow him to make mistakes, because he's going to make mistakes, and just kind of coach him through it, but also see how he's going to respond to those mistakes. That's one of the biggest things with young guys. Sometimes, they make a mistake, and it's, it takes over the entire game, entire season. So I think he's going to do a good job of responding, and, I'm not worried. I think he's going to do a good job once we put him in the game.
Return game-wise, who are some guys you're looking at and how they perform when given opportunities this preseason?
I think B.J. Gibson been doing a really good job with punch, and obviously Jay Luke. And we've been putting Deuce back there. Deuce looks really good, look a little different. I told him when he catching punch, that was his first time, but he did a really good job with it. Keon Coleman, I told him he had never caught punch before. So, we always making sure we trying to evaluate everybody we can, and putting Deuce back there actually today was really good. And he did a good job catching him.
Brendan, I understand that it's probably different every single year depending on what the running back group looks like, but do you have a preference for 2 to 3 guys in the game that you want to use? Do you want to, it's a deep stable of backs, do you want to go 5 or 6? Do you have a preference for this?
That's hard to go 5 or 6. That's kind of unrealistic. But if you can get 2 to 3 guys, with different offenses. Now, before we played a lot of 21 personnel. And actually, you look at the last game, Georgia Tech game, I was able to play 5 running backs in the first 7 plays of the Georgia Tech game. But it's a different offense now. So you're going to probably lean on maybe 3 guys. And you have to have running backs because these guys get hit all the time because you never know what's going to happen. I tell guys, make sure they're ready. But I think for sure we'll be able to play at least 3 backs this year.
What is different about the offense that maybe going with the smaller rotation is better for you guys?
I think the biggest thing is going to be the tempo. We're going to play a lot faster, understand exactly, what the running backs role. And he wants to run the ball. Coach wants to run the ball downhill, and that's one of the big things. Those guys are getting excited. Have a veteran guy like Rodell is really excited about that. So that's one of the biggest things. And I tell other guys, man, just whenever you get your opportunity, take advantage of your opportunity. Don't let your opportunity embarrass you.
You mentioned only more than likely getting 2 to 3 guys in rotation as opposed to a lot more. With Roy Dell and Jay Luke coming back, Cam being in his second year, Sawchuck coming, do you get the sense that that competition has elevated in comparison to maybe what you had in your room last year? Is there more competition?
No, I think they always had competition. I think these guys always find a way to battle. I think the talent level with Ooze is probably a little better right now, with a young freshman coming in like that. But I think these guys been, in competition for a long time, did a real good job battling. Even before you had LT and Trey Benson. I always say that it's going to work its way out. It always works itself out. You just continue to work and control what you can control.
Coach Norvell mentioned the other day that he thinks this team, he's seen a lot of fight and competitiveness, even if the plays aren't, the execution isn't where it needs to be, there's some fight there. Have you noticed that, and in what ways have you seen that?
I think this team is really close. You see these guys hanging out with each other. And when they do make mistakes, they hold each other accountable. And that's one thing you want a player-led team, coach-inspired. And I think they're doing a good job with that, even when things don't go right. Like today, they were a little tired. You could see it. But I think the quarterback, TP, did a really good job of kind of having a good understanding of getting the guys up. And Tommy, I was really proud of them. I told them that after practice. I know it was a tough day. They were a little tired coming off an off day, but they did a good job mentally.
Good, two more. Athlon? Gavin's been the guy. I mean, you mentioned that he's willing to do special teams, but do you sense the same competitiveness out of him? Like he wants to be the guy, or does he seem like someone that's content to help out however he can?
No, everybody in there wants to be the guy. That's the only way I want to recruit you if you want to be the guy. You have to have that mentality, because if you don't have that mentality, there's no need to play at Florida State. You have to want to be the person with the ball at all times, and regardless if it works out that way, but I want you to have that mindset. And Gavin wants to be the guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we always have high conversations in there, open, honest, and transparent. We talk about being the guy.
Corey?
When it comes to coaching running backs, I know a lot of it's God-given, it's natural, but not all of it. You're trying to teach holes and how to read things and everything else. With a quarterback like Tommy, are you working with him at all about what he's looking for? Because he's one of the most dynamic running quarterbacks in the country. Do you work with him at all about his running ability and looking for lanes and stuff like that? Or is that all kind of him on his own or with Topar?
Yeah, I think you just kind of answered it. I mean, everybody knows he's dynamic. He don't need my cone drills. He's doing a really good job without me. So my job when you get a great guy like that, you don't want to mess it up. That's the biggest thing. And I think he's doing a good job, and he's going to be a person who's going to extend plays. He's really competitive, and that's what I like about him. And everybody here has his back, and he understands that. So, no, I don't think he needs to work with me. I think, Tony's doing a great job with him.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.